You know, some Dragon Ball fans complain that we've played through the entirety of the Dragon Ball story like a million times.
Impossible! You're a complete and embarrassment to our race! Just
And I don't blame them, right? The Dragon Ball games have a history and so many good adaptations, not this one. But chances are, the first of those playthroughs was most likely this game, Dragon Ball Z Budokai. Before we jump into the video, I'd like to give a special thanks to today's sponsor, myself.
Thank you, me. Hi-ho, Kermit the Frog. You're all probably wondering why we're here. They're not. You're probably wondering, were we paid? We're not. Well, truth is, we're here just to waste time and collect that sweet, sweet ad revenue. You know, 'cause Cell's poor. What? So please, join me in unison as we point and laugh at Cell for being poor.
Dragon Ball Z Budokai wasn't just another game. It was pioneering the Dragon Ball Z narrative to an entirely new generation, introducing them to Goku's world in a way that we'd never seen before. Spanning from the Saiyan saga all the way to the Cell saga, it came complete with fully voiced over cutscenes accompanied by their original voice actors from the anime. Now mind you, the game didn't have the largest character roster available, but it stood out from many of the Dragon Ball games before it by making use of the capsule system.
No need to live outside like savages. I have my dino caps, remember?
The PlayStation 2 era brought the benefit of memory cards. This allowed players to store and trade all the skills, the items, the transformations that they had unlocked from story mode or purchased at the shop right into their memory card. You could then take that memory card and take it with you to a friend's house. You know, online play wasn't really a thing at the time, so this was the closest you were gonna get to that. And this feature was so popular that it would be expanded upon and carried over to the sequels. Nonetheless, the feature itself added a unique dimension to the gameplay, and it's something that we never really got to see with the older Dragon Ball games before this. Games like the Butoden series or Final Bout were more arcadey style games given their age, and it's not to say Budokai doesn't have that arcade feel, but the gameplay really stands on its own. Aside from it feeling more like a bare bones version of Budokai 3, it holds up to this very day.
Don't worry, I'm coming.
But let's put the gameplay aside. Say you're a guy who only button mashes. You don't give a shit about the combos, and you are here for the experience, for the story, for the cinema.
The kids, what they say now, Paul? What they call what I do? They call this cinema.
Well, this game gives you the Dragon Ball experience. It guides you through each important arc in the most basic way it can, serving you all the necessary information that you need to understand Dragon Ball Z at its most fundamental level.
his power is incredible. Could he be the one?
Now, if you're looking for something a bit more refined, Dragon Ball Z Kakarot may be for you. But Budokai 1 is a good alternative and should be played nonetheless. What sets Budokai 1 apart from the others is its charm. Even though the music is surrounded in copyright drama, it's still one of the best Dragon Ball game soundtracks ever made, and the majority of the fan base will agree. When the HD collection was released, they replaced the original soundtracks that were released with the PS2 and the GameCube versions of the game, opting for music that was used in other Dragon Ball titles. The decision is understandable, and it's really up to the person at this point which version they want to play. Aside from the censorship, the variety of game modes are the same, so it's really up to you. You have a versus mode where you can take on a friend or a computer with a limited roster at first, but that's later expanded upon after you complete the story mode. A world tournament mode with various difficulty levels to earn prize money, and Popo Skill Shop where you can edit, purchase random skills, Dragon Balls, and other items inside of the game.
If you destroy the room again, you're banned for life.
Story mode was such a wonderful experience that shaped many childhoods, and finishing the main story unlocked extra chapters, a feature that as a kid blew my goddamn mind. You don't understand my reaction when I had realized what I had just stumbled upon. What ifs, alternate stories. It was so exciting because I was experiencing what ifs for the first time. That probably doesn't excite you anymore, considering the crazy shit we have now like Dragon Ball Heroes, but the innocence and the joy that comes with that excitement of experiencing something for the first time, that only happens once. And this game was just that for me. Experiencing Dragon Ball on a much deeper level. Mind you, the game isn't balanced. And the roster isn't exactly the largest for a Dragon Ball game.
It's so small.
Especially when you have Giga Chads like Tenkaichi 3 just straight up existing, but it's still loads of fun to play with friends, and it's a game worth trying if you haven't already. If you do decide to play Dragon Ball Z Budokai, I think the GameCube version would be the most optimal way to experience it. For those who don't know, the GameCube version was a much higher quality and shared the cel-shaded look of its later sequels. Fun fact, the original Budokai on PS2 is what originally inspired the visuals on this channel.
Kermit, why is there a random
I say!
500 billion.
It's not that I don't like the cel-shaded stuff, but I really liked the visuals of the original Budokai. Is it weird? Probably, but it's true. It inspired the look of my animation today.
Ha ha, my man. What next?
Surprisingly enough, the HD collection doesn't use cel shading, which is weird. Instead, they opted for the look that was closer to the PS2 release. One thing I never noticed as a child that I do now as an adult is how gory Dragon Ball Z actually was. I mean, we had Piccolo ripping his arm off, Raditz getting blasted through the chest, limbs were being cut off, impalement, obliteration, space dictators were being cut in half. Have you figured it out yet? And the game didn't copy everything from the anime, it still had its limitations, but it did have its moments. So I wouldn't just dismiss Dragon Ball Z Budokai because it is an older game, or if you consider it retro or whatever. It's still a good game to pick up. It's a good game that you should try just to appreciate and to see how far we've come with Dragon Ball gaming as a whole.
Now witness my true power!
The cinematics for this game were very impressive for its time. Even now, as a 3D animator myself, looking back at these cutscenes, man, some of them are animated beautifully, and they hold up very well in my opinion.
What are you doing?
Tell your mother that I love her very much.
But I digress. Is Dragon Ball Z Budokai worth playing in 2024? Absolutely. Grab a friend, boot up Parsec, or go at it alone. You'll enjoy yourself either way. Hell, if you can get your hands on some hardware and an original copy from some creepy guy in an alleyway or eBay, even better.
I remember, Bulma told me something a long time ago about how it seemed like I always attract the bad guys. And when you stop and think about it, in a way that's true. I think the world might just be safer without me. So, I know it might be hard on Chi-Chi and Gohan, but don't bother wishing me back to life. Don't worry, we'll meet again one day. I'll be waiting for you. Bye!
Anyways, guys, thanks for checking out today's video. If you like what you see here, be sure to subscribe and turn on notifications. I'm Devil Artemis, and I'll see you all in the next one.